Well, hello everybody. Welcome on into the Pegasus Actual Podcast. Right now, it is just me. So, so you get the glory of me, myself, and I at the moment. I'm not sure where Raquel is. Unfortunately, Stephen had had some teeth pulled. He's got dental pain. He can't make it this evening. And Bear Nerd Fun is going to be late. So you have me, which is actually pretty good considering I didn't know if I myself was going to make it today because, as we know, with my current medical issues, yeah, things have been a little bit crazy. I will, in a second, give an update on that before we jump into our discussion here. But yeah, today it was. It looks like it was awful rough for a lot of people. So, well, yeah, Thursday for some reason is no bueno. I have no idea what's going on, but yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, we'll go ahead and kind of get started here. I think. And what I was going to start off with was, like I said, I was going to give you guys a medical update. Well, what happened is I saw the doctor today, and he gave me 4 options, which are, number one, I can, according to him, I can live with it. Number 2 was basically to go and do pain management. Number 3 was to do physical therapy. And number 4 was to basically have surgery and not, he said the surgery would be tricky. Basically, without telling me I'm fat, which I know. Listen, I know I'm a fat ass. I get it. But he said, yeah, you're built like a football player, man. You got a thick neck. And he said, because of that, it makes it really hard to get down to the bottom of your cervical spine, which is where the problem is. Which what the problem is right now is I have a pretty major herniated disc that he would really like to get to, but he can't because with my chest bone being so big, he can't get in there. He doesn't think he can get in there properly, and this guy is a very renowned surgeon. So when he says he can't get in there properly, I kind of trust the judgment that he can't get to it. So I'm kind of rather screwed with pain management or physical therapy. I'm thinking about trying to do the physical therapy, but like Parrot Head, like you say, I'll probably get a second opinion as well. But it looks like for now, that's where I'm at with everything. So here we are. Oh boy. So Raquel just sent a message that she unfortunately had an immediate family member pass away. Our thoughts go out to her. And she is taking this evening away. So here we are. All right. So we'll try to I'll try to do this as best I can. Script Doctor will be by shortly. He is stuck in a meeting. I feel like that guy that like walks in the room. What's that meme where everybody where Travolta walks in and there's just like nobody there. I feel like that's Night Man. have a double episode scheduled tonight and nobody shows up. I mean, it's just, that figures. It's my luck. So I will do the best I can to handle it on my own. I have no notes. So I'm kind of going in dry here, but all right, let's get into the episode, into Final Cut. So basically, it starts off with the recap. We're kind of showing essentially when we go back to the moment when Ty called in the Marines to get the supplies back from the Gideon, that one colonial ship. And obviously the Marines went in, and if you recall, they were the civilians started throwing things, and then one of the Marines fired, and it wound up with 4 people dead and 12 wounded, as we'll find out in a few scenes. But we're starting off the recap with that. And look, we've got Steven in. Steven, man.
Hell, the chat. What is going on, everybody?
I'm surprised you made it, homie.
I saw nobody showed up. So I got a hole in my head. Don't know how much talking I'll be doing, but I'm here.
Well, welcome. It's great to have you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Love this show. This is the best show. This is the show I look forward to every week. This is the chat I look forward to every week. Why don't you run off the scenes and we'll go over them.
Yeah. So basically, I was just talking. We were in the recap here, and I was saying we started off with that sort of scene on the Gideon, that civilian transport where Ty had sent over the Marines to get supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that the Marines had fired on people after they had started kind of chucking some stuff at the Marines, and so we move on a little bit more. We show the scene where Kara is in the museum on Caprica, and she's talking to Hilo. What do you want from me, Hilo? She's a Cylon, because Kara was gonna shoot Sharon, and then we go into the episode where you see like footage of this thing of this situation on the Gideon, where the Marines were firing into the crowd. And we're introduced to Lucy Lawless's character, Deanna Beard, which God, she looks hot.
Oh,
she looks hot as hell.
Been waiting to bust out my Lucy. Hold on, I gotta find her now. Yeah, man, she looks great.
Dude, she looks freaking gorgeous in this episode. Gosh, tasty. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's hard to actually concentrate with this, man, because God, she looks so freaking
well, I mean, it's Lucy Lawless, man. I mean, we fell in love with her in the 90s, when she was Xena, and then we get to see her again using her accent. Oh, and getting to hear her accent, man. That's wonderful. But she's not only a beautiful woman, but a wonderful actress. And so being her introduction to the series was kind of like a turning point. There's a few actors that come in that only have roles on certain for a certain amount of time. Like they're all throughout, like Dean Stockwell. When he comes in later on, I love Dean Stockwell.
Yeah, absolutely.
But having Lucy come in the team, that was just a wonderful addition to an already good show.
So, she's going to, it's funny how with this episode, like, art imitates life, because you got something where you got almost like the media trying to portray something one way. And because she's sitting there and they're editing the footage and they're like, she's this is a slide, and it's funny because if you guys didn't know, like there's been multiple times ABC's been caught editing footage. There's been times CNN's been caught editing footage, using stock footage to make something else look like something else.
Get out.
And it's funny because art imitates life in this episode. She references, hey, maybe we should get stock footage of rampaging Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it brought me back to that. That's immediately like the thing I thought of. And this is so relevant right now because you got constantly portrayed in the media. You've got they're trying to find like police throwing things at protesters, whatever. They don't show much the protesters throwing stuff at the police, but they show police retaliating for the stuff being thrown at them. And it's just funny how we landed on this episode tonight with everything that's been going on. But
yeah, man, when you're talking about a show that was created just after
9/11,
when you had a lot of questions that were being raised about liberties, the control of the government over their population, terrorists, the military force, and 9/11 in itself, when you look at it, is kind of shady in as far as the official narrative of what happened. So, I mean, this show was spawned from a time where there was a constant questioning of power and of threat. And so, yeah, it absolutely does reflect life. And I think it's one of those shows, like we've said before, that stands the test of time. You can watch an episode like this with what's going on today and see the truth in it, because it was about the storytelling. It wasn't about projecting an era of humanity on Earth. You know what I mean? It's about Battlestar Galactica. It's about the Capricorns. And so, yeah, I completely agree with you. Hail Wookiee supremacy. I have been waiting to use this avatar of the great Lucy Lawless because, oh my God, I've loved Lucy's in the 90s. And then, you know what? If you really like her and you haven't seen Spartacus, at least watch season 1, bro.
Yeah. Oh God. I've seen
full on, man. Full on.
I may have looked that up on a certain other site, but yeah, man. Oh my God, it looks great. Oh wow.
Yeah, and there's in the prequel series. Well, Andy was the main the guy who was the main character or playing the main character was going through cancer treatments. They did a prequel, a 6-episode prequel, and there's one episode where she's in a threesome, and I love that show.
All right, so we got a few boxy theories I want to get into. I want to say hi myself to Angela Straven. Great stream that Angela Straven did. Guys, make sure that you check out Angela Straven's channel and sub to him. It was pleasant to see him on stream. Him and Culture Casino and Mando Merc were all doing their thing. And it was awesome. They were talking gaming earlier, and it was great. And then Wookiee Supremacy, welcome on in here, dude. Great to see you. And of course, the DJ Odyssey needs no introduction. Parrot Head and Toxic Man Flu, my boys. Thanks for popping in, fellas. So okay, we'll load up the boxy theories here. Boxy theory number 1. Poxy's evil plan to make Drew do the show alone is working. He has tied up all the co-hosts and sent out fake emails to throw up. Yeah, I felt like that for a minute, dude. Boxy theory number 2. Son of a bitch, Steven escaped. We'll try and round him up again.
Beautiful.
Boxy theory number 3. Using his master disguise kit, he dresses up as Lucy Lawless in an attempt to recapture Steven.
Yeah, that'd be a way to do it.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
You have to tuck that sack back a little bit, though, because if I sense dong, I'm running.
Wait, Wookiee Supremacy, what? You were silenced by the man today. Wait a second. Are you talking about, did you get in a Twitter beef with Becky Lynch, dude? What? You gotta post and chat more about that, dude. I want to know about that.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, we're caught up on boxy theories for the moment.
Thank God. I'm gonna be like, thank God when script shows up. If you guys don't, you probably don't know, I had a molar taken out in emergency this morning. I was up all night. I've been having like headache. I've been having headaches and toothaches from this one tooth for a while. And look, y'all, don't put it off. Go to the damn dentist. Like I'm one of those guys that's like, I don't want to go see a doctor. You know, like, I don't want to go see. You know, I'm one of them guys. And I was putting this off, and it kept me up all night. I'm on an hour and a half nap, and I've got a hole in my tooth. So just lesson of today is I got a hole in my mouth. So lesson for today is just and no, if anyone's asking, they didn't even give me good drugs. I'm on ibuprofen right now.
Wow.
So, yeah, it sucks. I can't wait for Script to get here because he talks and talks and talks, and I'm gonna be like, thank God tonight.
Yeah. So I real quick, I gotta highlight this because I just got sent a brilliant picture on Twitter from
awesome. And then I want to go over what Wookie just said.
All right.
With that.
All right. So let me share this right now. Yeah, Parrot had sent me that. Oh my God.
I would share my DNA with her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, God bless you, Lucy. If you ever listen to this, like with all due respect, I love you, honey. You know what? If you haven't seen her in the Evil Dead series, she's great in that too.
Yes, she is.
God,
yes, she is.
Yeah, I love you, honey. But I'm just, I guess I love you. I lust for you too. But Wookie's Primacy says no. He got a week off in Twitter jail for going off on Alyssa Milano. I think that's like a badge, Wookie. I think everybody should at least go to Twitter jail once for telling that crazy woman off. Crazy hot. I guarantee you. I don't mean to make this show so foul, but I guarantee you that vag is lit. As crazy as she is, I'll bet you she will suck a golf ball through a garden hose. I'm sorry, Drew.
No, probably, dude. It's not. You're not wrong. You are not wrong, sir. All right, here you go. You can read this one, Steven.
Okay, Boxy theory number 4. You never see Boxy and Abby in the same room ever. Think on that. Yeah.
This is sweet. Oh man, yeah. So we're sitting here exploding over Lucy Lawless. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So we both are.
Oh, speaking of cast members that I love, Candace McClure was interviewed by
Simone. Yeah, I heard. I missed it that day because of what I'm going through and whatnot. I was passed out because these damn pain meds knocked the shit out of me.
I was writing. If any of you writers know, I was in the middle of it and just completely lost all track of space and time, and then remembered that she was on there and went and checked it out. And no, I did not take my pants off in the chat, guys. I was very respectful. Simone is a legit actress. Like she's a sci-fi actress, and she's building a channel and interviewing other actors and actresses. And for her to have the respect to come onto a live stream with the Fandom Menace historian, that shows a lot of respect. So when I went to, when I go to anybody else's channel, it's like I go to their house. You know what the rules are? That's what the rules are. So I would know. I did not hit on Candace, even though I really wanted to. Oh my God!
Were you just hanging out in the chat, or did you?
I hung out in the chat for a little while, and then I said something. She said something really, really nice, really amazing. And I just had to say something about it. And then PJ called me out, and then I started chatting with people. But one of the things that I heard in that conversation, guys, and I want to ask this to the audience too to keep up on this, because Candace said that initially she was going to be the last Cylon, and there were clues leading up to that point. Now, people who were running message boards like Drew over here figured these clues out before it was revealed, and because of that, they changed her character arc. They changed who the last Cylon was going to be. So I think it's going to be very interesting going forward, watching some of these episodes and looking for those little crumbs that would state that Duwala was going to be the Cylon.
Yeah, there was really nobody that back at that time when we had the Pegasus actual forum, actually, we ran a poll about who's going to be the fifth, and there was a lot of there were a lot of people like, oh, it's so obvious Kara's going to be the fifth, blah blah blah. People still thought she was going to be the fifth. There was like a lot of people said it was going to be Baltar. There was Duala was in the list.
Yeah.
And then there was nobody had Ellen. Nobody had Ellen.
Well, and that was why I thought it was a great choice, because that character did, you completely. First off, when she died, I don't want to go jump ahead, but the way that she goes is out, and oh god, I can't jump ahead, Jim and Drew.
Yeah, I know. We're not going to jump ahead too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nobody had really had it for that, and it was it's kind of awesome that they actually considered it, because even Duwala wasn't that high in our poll. Everybody thought for sure it was going to be something like Kara, be like Baltar, something like that.
Would have been too easy,
But yeah, everybody thought like the obvious ones, and then I mean, like I said, Duwala had some votes because some people were using the logic, well, it could be just like a enlisted member of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And she's high on the list of screen time for enlisted people. Same as like it could be Callie, because Callie at the time was high on the list of enlisted people.
That's another one with some craziness going on. I can't wait. I can't wait till we get to that part of the show, because I'm holding it all in. I'm holding it all in, Drew, for that.
Oh, I know.
As to why she left. That's going to be a great episode to talk about. Not only the episode itself, but what happens, but why it happened.
So we get to anyways, back to the recap. We see Deanna in the editing room with their cameraman, whatever, sitting there, and they're discussing the footage and if they're going to get stock footage or not. And then you just see, hear a big, you hear the door open, Marines walk in. They're like, you're going to have to come with us, ma'am. And, she's like, am I under arrest? And they're just like, no, come with us, ma'am. And so she winds up on Colonial 1, where she's introduced first to the president, talks briefly to the president, and then she talks to Adama, and they're trying to hash out back and forth, what she thinks happened versus what Adama says. It's a very different account from my Marines.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that, Stephen?
I think, I love there's like there's a slight disconnect in the characters there due to everyone's perspectives. And I think as the episode unfolds, not only does that show a little bit more and more, but the way that everyone comes together, the changing of, or even not changing, but admission of those perspectives really comes into play toward the end of the episode.
Yeah. And so what happens next is basically, you could kind of tell from Adama and Rosalind's perspective. They know, again, this is very much too relevant today, because you have the fake news media out there spinning things a certain way, and then you have the what's really going on, and a portrayal of people like emergency services, government officials, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see both the problem back and forth, and obviously, nowadays nobody really trusts the fake news media anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, CJ, it's great to see you, buddy.
Hail, CJ.
And Ensign Ricky, what's up, my boy Ricky? I love seeing Ricky. Man,
Wookie says the original Baltar was better. Man, how can you go wrong with Calicos, man? You know,
Cockroach was
right?
classic.
I concede
Dude,
that.
he's such a classic villain. God damn it, man. You know.
Yeah.
Soon I will be the ruler of the universe.
Yeah, I can't compare. The only way that I can reconcile my love for the original and the newer version is not putting. I can't put them together in the same box. It's the only way, because I love so much about the original series.
Alice was such a good Boltar, but man,
Yeah,
Calicos was just.
Dude, yes, you're talking about he was a Klingon, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, Dahar Master Core, man.
Yes.
But yeah, so we've got this kind of give and take here. So essentially, you can kind of see the disdain that Rosalind and Adama have for the way, obviously, the media is portraying them. They're not particularly fond of the media as it is, and again, it kind of goes with that dynamic today.
Well, yeah, and she also comes off as like that idealistic investigative journalist.
Well, she comes off more like one of these typical fake news type of media people these days.
Yeah.
Because this is like over the top journalism, like she's like editing in stuff and whatnot. And so Rosalind Adama, and I thought this was ingenious here. You can see the sort of give and take they have with her, and they figure out like, okay, well, here's a way to sort of work it so that we can make the fleet look good. And so what they do is, they offer her unlimited access to the Galactica to make like an exclusive sort of documentary, if you will. And so, she obviously is going to accept that offer because, I mean, who wouldn't? That's like, once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
So, she winds up accepting.
I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, her position, who wouldn't accept? Yeah. That's a, and what was the all she had to do was be fair, I think was the words that they used.
Well, that's what they were trying to point out to her, because she is spinning it that the military is bad, and they want to show the just fairness of what the military has to handle.
Right. But I'm good. But from her perspective, I mean, you got to look at the civilian perspective here with everything that just went down. God, over the last few months, this show was just hectic circumstance after hectic circumstance.
Dude, did you kind of see though that the last part of that exchange where they're talking about that, they say something to the effect of, we want to, let people see the face of the military, and Deanna's response is, well, you may not like that face, and Adama says something to the effect of, you haven't even seen it yet, and then Rosalind's like, well, I think we should do this, and she looks Deanna Beers dead in the face, and this is Mary McDonald is so good with this stuff. She looks Deanna dead in the face. It says, before we tear each other apart.
Yep.
I mean, that just like it's such a good line right there. Oh my God. Such a good line right there.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I should say star power, but the acting chops.
I mean, dude, she just like laid it down like, bitch.
Yep.
This is it. All right, you're taking this offer, or I'm gonna rip your fucking head off, bitch.
Well, you know what? Rosalind doesn't take shit. She does not. And you know, before she was the president, you know, she was the Secretary of Education. So,
Yep.
you know, she's been pretty much just a normie most of her life, you know,
Exactly.
and so she knows she knows a bitch when she sees one and knows how to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just like, damn, man. I was just like, wow. It was such a. I mean, this is just such a good thing, you know. I mean, Rosalind just laid that line down. Like, all right,
Uh-huh.
there's the line, and you ain't crossing this.
Wookie says, "Why wasn't there a Daggett in the new series? He was disappointed about that. How could they have fit Daggett in?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know how you would have fit that character. I don't know how you would have fit it in.
Fucking Daggett, man.
I do the same thing when I think about Lucy Lowell. All right, go ahead. What's the next scene?
Oh man. Hang on here. All right, so we got a nice wide shot of the Cap flying over the Galactica, the fleet. Their tie is in the CIC, and we've got Duala answering the phone as she's like combat Duala, and it's on the other end of the phone is Ellen, and apparently something's wrong with Ellen. So Ty rushes to his quarters, and they find written in red, looks like blood on the mirror. It says, "From the darkness you must fall."
Mm.
And then, of course, we go into the actual opening credits of the show. So, what does the blood on the mirror mean? From the darkness you must fall.
I mean, at first glance, Ellen's a crazy bitch, and she's getting weird with her period. Or, you know, well, we started the show off with someone who is trying to weave a narrative to the people, kind of showing what the people want to hear, what the people want reinforced, their belief in their lack of faith in the military at the moment because of everything that's going down. And so I think that expands upon that feeling. There's someone out there that, you know, is upset with the way that Ty handled things. I mean, who wouldn't be? God.
Yeah. You know, again, I want to say really quickly, you know, guys, for those of you in the chat, if you are people of faith, please keep Raquel in your prayers. Apparently, you know, she couldn't make it tonight because she had a loss in her immediate family.
Oh no!
So we want to send out our prayers and our, you know, good thoughts to her and our condolences. And I hope that she's okay. And you know, and send all of our love out to Raquel because
Absolutely.
she deserves it. And you know, thanks for Brian the Gravedigger coming in the chat. It's good to see you, Brian. You know, as we do this shorthanded edition of the Pegasus Actual Podcast, it's me and Steven, and we're tag teaming it. And I think Bear will be late, and Script Doctor is stuck in a actual like meeting for work, and he will be here as soon as whenever his meeting is done.
So Drew and I are going to do the heavy lifting. We're going to DP this episode. This pair of episodes. We're going to DP these twins.
Yes, we are, dude.
That's right.
So yeah, we're into the opening credits now, and I lost track of shit, dude.
I totally lost track of shit too because freaking Parrot had sent me a picture of Lucy Lawless. Oh my god!
That's a picture of what?
Lucy Lawless. Oh my god!
Oh, you sent another one?
Yeah, I'm not sharing it. We can't share this one. Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we were after the credits is where we left.
You need to forward that one to me.
All right, brother. Oh man, it doesn't let me do that. I'll do it later. I promise.
So now we see like they're starting to obviously film aboard the Galactica, and you can see like the cameraman filming, and it's funny because the camera has like that weird like shape too, like all the paper does and everything, like the cut corners. I thought that was pretty cool. Like the camera lens is even shaped that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're actually on a Raptor. They're headed to Galactica.
Did you stare at my ass and forget where you were?
Yeah, and then Adama says, if you shoot anything that compromises the safety of the ship, then we got a problem, essentially. And then they're going through the corridor and everything, and kind of checking the stuff in Galactica. But now we cut to Apollo and Starbuck. They're in the corridor.
Yes.
And Lee and Kara are kind of discussing, life and whatnot. And then they're talking about Ty's death threat. It's funny, Kara's comment. She's like, well, couldn't have happened to a nice guy. Which just underscores, that Kara doesn't like him. Which I thought was a great little line in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think so far? Just the little segment with them, shooting the stuff on the Raptor, and then going in and what Adama said with that comment, because I thought that was a nice piece of dialogue where he said, he
doesn't like the thought of somebody walking around filming on his ship, but he's gonna do it because he understands the necessity of it. It's a difference between a good leader and one that doesn't think about all the different factors involved. He's thinking about the fact that they have to protect the people, and he just learned the lesson of keeping the family together. So he's willing to do things he doesn't particularly like or want to do if it is going to help morale in the fleet.
Hey, we got the Great Culture Casino in the chat. Hail, CC, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. And it's great to see another Boxy Theory in the chat. So I'll go ahead and highlight that before we go on here. Let's see. Boxy Theory number 5. After dressing up in drag to recapture Steven, Boxy is grabbed by the black market slave trade and shipped over to be used by some colonial workers. Oh, boy.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. Good stuff. All right.
Hail Culture Casino. Culture made an opening for the High Council that was just premiered last week. So if you guys happen to watch the High Council every week and you see that promo, Culture Casino is the guy that did that. So hail to him, man. That's freaking awesome. Culture's like not even monetized. I don't even think he doesn't even have 1,000 subs yet. And there's his imprint of creativity, on something that everybody, that thousands of people watch a week. So that's a beautiful thing, man. That's what you can do if you keep your attitude right, if you respect other people, if you keep working towards your goals, keep it civil, then those kind of doors can open up for you. So hail Culture Casino. That was awesome to see.
So we see Duala leading the camera crew around through the corridor. She has to give the tour, and then you see like Hot Dog in his drawers running, and a naked cat chasing him. Well, she's in a towel, but damn cat, fuck.
Yes. And again, this show this thing, and again And
Yeah.
again, this show says to us, we wanted to give you boobs. We
Yeah.
wanted to give you ass. You know? Hell. I'm sorry. You know what? The wrong head is thinking on this show tonight. Continue.
Oh, Cat moons the camera. And then,
Yeah.
and then Lee makes funny joke like, yeah, you were literally talking out of your ass.
Mm-hmm. Get a little butt crack off of
Yeah.
Kara too. But
This is funny because the next scene when they're interviewing Apollo, like and the towel slips, it's funny because that was the biggest shared photo on our forums for like months. And I'm telling you, man, the female fans of this series, you guys, you want to talk about us being toxic? Oh, no. Let me tell you, you stand between women and their Leah Dama. Holy shit.
yeah, man, and rightfully so. I mean, it was a sexy show on top of being a good sci-fi.
I mean, they was all about that picture. We had that screen cap floating around for I don't know weeks and weeks. It never ended. It literally never ended. And
you know what? But that's just desserts, Drew. Because how much have we seen? How much of these actresses did we get to see? How much skin did we get?
Brother,
par for the course, man. Give the sisters what they need. You know.
Brother, yes. Yeah. So yeah, it was all good, and and in this scene when Apollo was standing there, I didn't mind Kara in the little like background of the shot with their panties, chilling in her panties. I was like, all right, that's cool. So, man, this is like, I swear tonight, this is like the toxic edition of Pegasus Actual.
Well, it's just us. We don't have anybody to balance us out right now.
Yeah.
Normally we balance out. Although Raquel can get pretty toxic.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that.
Oh yeah, she can.
So let's see. What the next scene is? Oh God, Gaius, right?
Yeah. So it's funny. Like as Deanna's walking off, like Apollo's telling them they need to get the hell out of there. As they're walking out of the officers' quarters, what's funny is like Deanna kind of has that flirty little smirk on her face, like, okay, I like the goods there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. And then we go into where like they're doing like the little like sort of bios of the crew for this documentary.
Yeah, they got my girl Duala.
And Duala's like leading it off. And she's kind of talking about her early life in the military.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, you get to see clips of that, I think, throughout the rest of the episode.
And I thought the way that they did that, was pretty awesome. I like that sort of dynamic because they had a lot of different crew on here. You got to see Duala, you got to see Racetrack. I think Lee was on there. They had Gate on there. There were some other ones.
Callie's still on the break for shooting a bitch.
Yep. Yep. DJ, take care of yourself, buddy. Feel better. I know you're not feeling well.
None of us broken down.
Feeling well. Yeah.
We're all broken down this week. Oh man. Good luck. Love you, DJ. Hope you feel better.
Yeah. Which speaking of, I actually need to check. I've had some blood pressure issues all day, man. I went and saw the doctor today, guys, by the way, which I promised you, again, a medical update. So,
you taking your blood pressure?
Yeah, I'm actually like in the middle of taking my blood pressure really quick. So,
man, you know what? Then maybe we shouldn't be maybe we shouldn't be watching this episode then, because there's been a lot of boner material.
Yeah. Well, no, I've had like my blood pressure's been out of sight today for some reason, Yeah, and I don't know what the hell the deal is, but it's just been crazy.
Man, the dentist took my blood pressure twice today. I've never had a dentist take my blood. I was in pain. I know I looked it. I was in so much pain. I was at the point where like I didn't care how I looked in front of others. And I'm one of those dudes who's like, I'm gonna look tough, I'm gonna be tough in front of other guys. Like I want to not like super tough, but like I don't like showing weakness. I did not give a damn today. And they took my blood pressure twice. It's like, well, then I started thinking to myself, Drew, I was like, am I getting that old? Is that a thing now?
Well, my blood pressure's been running high all day. Like, my pulse has been up there over 100. My blood pressure has been up there, like, crazy high, and it's just been nuts. And so I'm just kind of worried because, like, shit, I don't want to have to go to the ER.
No, I don't want you to go to the ER either. Man, look, you got to calm down. The next time you unload after not having it for a while, next time you release the Drew, you got to take it easy, man. You're breaking yourself. God.
Yeah, well,
out of your room, break your neck. Jesus Christ.
Well, the thing is, like, the doctor told me it's funny, and I listen. I know I'm a thick dude and I got a thick neck, but he told me if they go in to do surgery, it's going to be tricky because I got I got a thick neck, and so it's like, damn, man.
Yeah, Parrothead, I lived all these scenes. I've watched this series God knows how many times. Those are some incredible tatas. Whew. My God. Yeah. So, while you're doing that, let me move forward in the show instead of staring at the naked pictures that Parrothead keeps sending me. Okay. So in the next scene, we have Lucy's Diana's character. She's looking to interview people, and then Gaius walks by, and of course, Angel 6. She's like, you've got to, you should get in there, get in front of the camera. You need your voice out there. How are you going to protect our baby if you don't get your voice out there? And he doesn't really want to do it because he's a timid, scared. I don't know. He's Baltar. He's Gaius Baltar in the new series, and so. He eventually does turn around, and Diana notices the whole time that he's kind of like meandering around her, like some kid who doesn't want to ask his mom for a push pop. Like what is this guy? What is this guy doing? He's such a weirdo. He puts off such weird energy. But eventually he does approach her, and he is the vice president of the colonies, although he does not even act like it. Like
I know.
Hey. Guys, if this was the old the Gaius from the Baltar from the old series, if this is Baltar from the first series, not only would have he made it to vice president by this point, he would have used and exercised that influence and deceit to become the president himself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like just kind of. Well, Baltar is he's just super timid still, and like I said, the only time he ever does anything assertive is when Angel 6 pushes him to do it. So hey, shout out Nano Horizon, what up, dude? Good to see you. Whenever he does anything, it seems like Angel 6 is pushing him to do it. Because either whatever way that she's doing. Wow. 151 over 111, and my pulse is 92. Shit. Well, that's not good.
Well, just don't masturbate tonight, all right? Let it sit in there. Dude, let your fluids level out.
My head's gonna blow off like Scanners, like that old movie Scanners. It's like my head's just gonna go.
Yeah, man. If you're trying to jerk it and you're getting a headache, it's time to stop. It's quits.
Yeah, man.
Get somebody to do it for you.
But yeah, keep going, Steven.
All right, so we have another. God, I'm so sorry. My mouth is killing me. We have another scene where they're interviewing Apollo, those little shortcuts for the video. And after that, we come to a very interesting scene between Kat and the chief. The Kat wants to get up and take her Viper out, and it's not ready to fly. And there's we know that the deck crew has been under so much pressure to keep up with everything. We saw that in the episode where the belt for one of the missiles released and killed 6 pilots, which is why Kat's even there. So it's kind of a weird circle. That Kat comes in yelling at the chief because her Viper isn't ready because she wants to get out there and fly. When her whole reason for being there was because the crew was so overworked that one faulty piece of equipment murdered the pilots that were in her place before. So that's an interesting little argument between the two, and also gets caught on camera. And then you have Kara come in and shut everything down because that's what Starbuck does.
Well, we did miss one thing before, like in the middle. Like, of course, we've got the little thing before that scene where they did Lee's little sort of thing, his little bio thing in the He's talking about the pilots and everything else. And then you get into the exchange that you just referenced, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that scene on the deck was quite interesting, and then Karen just comes in and shuts it all down.
Yeah. And then they'll be recorded the whole time trying to have a private conversation. She turns around to Diana and the cameraman and says, "Did you get all that?" She's such a cocky bitch.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, man. So we have another cut scene or another scene of a person being taped, and it was one of the Marines, who was on. I forget the name of the ship, but where the riot went on when they were trying to collect with. Sorry, I am a bubblehead right now. One of the Marines who was involved in the incident where the civilians were fired upon, and he's very defensive, as a Marine. He talks about you're trained to combat an enemy, but it really shows how much what Adama had said toward the beginning of the series, which is the military is not a police force, and that was the whole thing about instituting martial law, that he didn't, that he wouldn't want to take that route, and because these are the types of things that would happen. Military is not a police force. And so that you see that this is affected not only from the perspective of the people through Diana's interviewing, but also from the those that were involved and at the scene. Next we have Diana taping up on the on the command deck, and Saul just hates it.
Yeah. Well, there's something interesting too, Stephen. I wanted to point out, like, you were talking about the hangar deck scene, and this is also, I think, where we get the first taste of, when Kara steps in and shuts down that little confrontation between her and the chief. Mm-hmm. We kind of get that first sort of feeling of static between Kat and Kara. That sort of comes into play, pretty soon down the road here. You sort of get that first nod of that tension, and because, dude, the animosity between them gets explosive eventually between Kat and Kara. You remember, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely I think that's like a nice little precursor to it, because then because she goes like right after that after she shuts down Kat and the chief arguing, she goes and tells Lee, she's like, pull her off the damn rotation until she gets her head together. And Lee's like, I can't, I need the pilots. And it's just like, and Kara's just like, damn it. because yeah, she just thinks Kat's a hothead. And she don't necessarily like her. And so then, like you say, it's sort of I didn't mean to derail you backwards, but yeah,
Oh no, absolutely no. I'm doing this on the fly. I didn't have notes. Yeah, I haven't really put together notes since Raquel came on the crew.
Yeah, I know.
He's so damn good at it. But no, absolutely, man. If I miss something, just let's circle on back, bring it up. So we had the taping of the interaction on the bridge. The bridge. God, I'm in Star Trek mode.
CIC.
Yeah, I know. I'm so in Star Trek. In the CIC. And it's just Saul doesn't like having, this camera in his face. Adama doesn't like having this camera in his face. And so I think Ty is acting just a little more rigid than usual, and Adama is he's so uncomfortable, but he's just I don't think he's really changing much of his mannerisms in this scene because he's being recorded. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I just
he sends him on vacation. That's right. He sends him on vacation. He's that's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Dom's like, look, you're my boy and all. I know you're gonna F this up at some point, so I'm gonna send you on vacation for a week while this person's here doing a documentary. That's some stuff, man. And I mean, also because of the threat, that was in his quarters. I mean, let him get away, let things calm down. But
they kind of let slip. They kind of let slip about the fact he got threatened too, which is why they kind of ran off to go find Ty in the first place.
Right.
Because the Marine let on that he got threatened. So of course, first thing a reporter hears something like that, they're gonna go, oh, okay, right. What is that? So
who's up next? Oh, you know what? Candace. God, Candace.
Oh God.
You know how hard it was not to hit on this woman, to just try. I don't care if I live in another part of the world. She's up in Canada. I'm on the East Coast of the US.
Parrothead, you're doing freaking you're like Santa Claus, man. You just bring the happy stocking stuffers.
Yeah, stocking stuffers. That's not what he's trying to stop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not like I open the DMs. It's like Christmas.
Parrothead, we're trying to keep his blood pressure down.
Oh, Christ's sakes, man. So, Stephen, take it ahead just a little bit. I really do have to hit the head for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. So in the following scene, Saul is being escorted to a transport to go to the party ship. I can't think of anything. I'm so lightheaded right now. And so they get in. He gets into this transport, and as they are getting ready to lift off, there is a problem, and it's there's leaking plasma or leaking coming out of one of the engines. So they do an emergency stop. They evacuate the shuttlecraft and the Raptor shuttlecraft. You see, I'm stuck on Star Trek tonight. They evacuate the Raptor, and Chief goes over there, looks at it, finds out that it's something that had been done after the craft had landed, so it had to have been sabotaged, and yeah, somebody tried to kill
Thank God. Whew. Fucking coffee, man. Ugh. Oh, shit. What happened? There went Steven. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I had to hit the head for a second, and Steven went bye-bye. So yeah, we went and we've got Adama and Ty, the CIC. They're talking about Cloud9 having a meeting and everything like that. There was no Cylon contacts, and they're just kind of taking and interviewing the stuff. Ty hates the camera in his face. He's like, "Do you mind?" It's pretty funny. So yeah, they're kind of eavesdropping on Adama and Ty's conversation about the threat, and Adama suggesting that Ty face the people that are trying to threaten him, and Saul takes a little bit of offense and says, "You think I'm hiding?" And it's funny because he suggests that Ty takes some time to rest up and whatnot because of the fact that it seems like this has him stressed out. And so he's going to head to Cloud9, and we see racetrack on Raptor, everything else. And we got Kara in the background on the hair deck watching. And all of a sudden they start the Raptor launch, and they have to abort launch because there's an explosion on the Raptor. The electrical system is going. And you have to wonder at this point if somebody's like legit trying to kill him. So you got, yeah. Chief says if it was blown in transit, it would have actually went and vented the crew into space, which is obviously not good. So wow, let's kind of stop there. I mean, you have to wonder if there's like at this point a saboteur aboard the Galactica, which is crazy. So Steven's internet went down, and yeah, he was feeling sore anyway because he was talking so much. And God, I feel for Steven because I understand what dental pain's like. I'm sitting here in pain as I'm talking to you guys for the moment, because it's been a rough day. It's been a rough day for everyone. It's a rough day all around for the cast of this show. Unfortunately, um, we're all hurting and everything in a way. So we're trying to do the best that we can here. Trying to do the best I can for you guys. I'm still sitting here in terrific pain myself because there really is no way to sit comfortably. The When I saw the doctor this morning, one of the things he told me, is he wanted to know what my chair was like, and I explained to him, I'm using this old gaming chair that I have because this thing is about 4 years old, and he said, well, he said, you need to replace that chair. And he's like, and he gave me requirements for the new chair that I need to get. He said, I don't care what you get, but it has to have, cervical support and lumbar support. He said, and unless it has both of those, he's like, you don't want it. He's like, he's like, consider it a prescription without being a prescription, because obviously I can't prescribe you a chair, but it has to have cervical and lumbar support. So I guess I'm in the market for a new chair moving forward if I want to be able to do anything, considering the problems with my back and my arm. And he also informed me that I may have nerve damage where I might not get entire feeling back in my arm the longer that this goes on. So it was not a very pleasant visit with the orthopedic doctor today, unfortunately. But we're all battling through our collective issues, everyone here. So we all appreciate you guys and appreciate the support from the regulars that come into this show every week. So thank you so much. If anybody is out there and is keeping up on the episodes, if you would like to come on and do the rest of the show, you now have the opportunity to jump in. I will gladly send you a link if anybody would like to come on and try their hand at co-hosting. Please send me a DM in Twitter, and I will go ahead and send you a StreamYard link to go ahead and do this with me. So please don't feel shy. Go ahead, send a message, and come in and work with me here, because I'd much rather have a co-host for this than go solo. So, please feel free to reach out. Just send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll send you a link. And you can come in and do this. And even if you have to pull up the episode as you go, that's fine too. We'll get through it. Nano Horizon says, it's all good. I twisted my back up pretty good last summer and I couldn't even sleep. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through, Nano Horizon. The doctor told me I had a pretty bad herniated disc right now. And, again, with my body type being the way it is, surgery presents an interesting challenge where if they actually go in, he's not sure that he can even fix the problem. So as it stands right now, I'm at the choice of physical therapy and pain management, and that's pretty much about it. And just kind of having to live with it. Those are my three choices. So yeah, just kind of winging it at the moment. For the next week or so, I'm going to do pain management. I will be probably getting some sort of shot in the next week, and then we'll see how that goes from there. And I'll probably schedule some physical therapy. I'm going to try to do it that way and see if I can't work the kink out naturally. I'm hoping, knock on wood, that I can. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if anybody wants to step in and pinch hit on the co-hosting, please do, and we'll go from there. So if any of you wants to step up, now's the time. So I'll go ahead and I gotta let these stupid ads go on. So I'm working off the episode as we're discussing it. So I get the stupid ads popping up, so I have to wait for the ads to play. When you watch the episodes of Sci-Fi, by the way, if you're binging this, you're stuck with ads no matter what. So that's just the way that it is. And even if you run an ad blocker, it's still a pain in the ass. Because they'll sit there and give you like 6 ads in a row before they continue the show. So it's a bit of a pain.
Andy, how's the blood pressure doing?
Yeah, I put on a Volkswagen commercial, and Volkswagen's like the worst car you can buy. All right, so now we cut to Ty in his quarters. He's in their quarters with Ellen. Yeah, and they're talking about Ellen's talking to him and says somebody's trying to kill him. They think it's over the Gideon incident, which is probably a safe bet. And and Ellen is convincing Saul that, she said Deanna Beers has left 2 messages. He can go and tell his story because she said Rosalind's looking to satisfy the fleet, so she's gonna glorify Belladonna, and Saul's gonna be hung out to dry. So Ellen's trying to manipulate him as usual, and she's pushing Saul to say something because and we already know Ellen's game. She doesn't want to lose her status because she figures she's got some status as kind of a trophy wife because she's rolling around and she's big shit because her man was in charge. And then we cut to racetrack in the memorial hallway, sort of mourning over her dead comrades, her dead family. And then we cut to where racetrack is doing her little testimonial on camera, and they're and then they cut to Hilo doing his. And it's funny how Hilo kind of mentions being in the military. He says they try to turn off the human part of you when you're out in the field. and it's not very easy. And I found that to be an interesting comment because I wonder, those of you that have ever served, I mean, do you feel like Hilo's statement was factual? Or what do you think about that statement? I kind of wondered for those of you that have been in the military before. What do you think about what Hilo said? Racetracks wasn't really that interesting. She just said, "I like taking out any toaster son of a bitch I come across," basically, which that's kind of standard for colonial pilots. But I found it quite interesting what Hilo said. So I just wondered what any of you that are military veterans thought of Hilo's statement, if that was accurate or not. But anyways, we'll go on while you guys figure out a response for that. And we cut to Hilo. He's down by Sharon's cell, and he was going to visit Sharon, and Sharon's like sweating and everything. She's in the cell, presumably trying to sleep, but Hilo picks up the phone to talk to her, and she obviously can't come to the phone. And then he said something's wrong, calls the guard over, grabs the flashlight, and obviously Sharon's bleeding internally. She has blood all over her hand, so he said, call Dr. Cottle right away. And so we've got a problem there. And then we cut to Gata's testimonial, and he's just like kind of shows a little bit more of Gata's development. He kind of shows off his tattoo. He's talking about he's just talking about his life in general and whatnot. Nothing really special, but it kind of gives you a little sort of depth on Gata's character. And then next scene, we go to where Deanna's about to interview Ty. Ty's actually going to sit down for an interview, so it starts to get interesting. Deanna says, "Hey, would you like a drink?" And he says, "Is this an interview or a cocktail party?" And then, of course, Ty doesn't turn the drink down, and so then pours a couple of whiskeys, and they toast, and they sit down, and they're preparing for the interview. So we'll stop there and take a pause for a moment. So yeah, what did you guys think so far? I find this episode quite interesting. This is a very expositional episode as far as I like the concept behind it. I really liked the sort of media covering it from the outside concept, but I also like the sort of taking you inside the Galactica and seeing like day-to-day ops. It would be like getting a tour of a Navy aircraft carrier and being able to see daily carrier ops. And I always found that to be quite interesting. So I thought that this episode was very unique. Very unique. It's just kind of a thing that you don't see in a lot of series. So we'll go from there, and we'll pick it up with the interview. Yeah, so Deanna starts in and said, before we start the interview, we've heard rumors that you had death threats. Was there? Is that? Are you worried about that? Whatever, is that common? And Ty's response is, well, it's a military ship. We have rumors for every occasion, and he kind of shrugs it off. And then they start the interview, and she asks him, how hard was it to take over your friend's command after he was shot? And Ty's response is that, it wasn't hard at all. I did my duty, and that's the way it was. And then she said, you were in charge of the Galactica for a week, and there were a lot of controversial actions taken. And Ty says, well, you're talking about the Gideon. And he's like, I made a military decision. I'd do it again. And I find that interesting that he sort of threw that gauntlet down and said that this is I would have done this again no matter what. So that's that. And I think that's good. Deanna says you have no regrets whatsoever. And Ty just doesn't say anything. He just he just kind of knocks the glass on the floor and busts it and says, "You're trying to set me up," And he gets up and he's going to walk out the interview. And then she corners him with, "Why do you think there was no official investigation?" And then he just he nastily brushes her aside when she gets in his face and asks him that question. Like he practically backhands her out of the way, which is hilarious. And then she's like, "Did you get that?" to the cameraman. And she said, "Someone's a mean drunk." So yeah, I found that exchange pretty interesting. So needless to say, Colonel Ty trying to do an interview didn't really work out. Which if we know Colonel Ty by now, pretty much we kind of knew it would end that way. which is pretty hilarious. So I'm not surprised, but yeah, Ty is obviously very defensive on this subject. He doesn't want to discuss stuff like that and the Gideon and everything else, because he feels that he did what he did when he was in command, and he's going to stand by that. So, all right. So Deanna and her cameraman are now they're now they're filming Kara, and Kara is like working the bag a little bit. She's working out, kickboxing, sparring, and they're asking about the Cat, the pilot. And she said, she looks for somebody with, total commitment, things like that, and somebody crazy enough to follow her into combat, which I thought was pretty cool. That little scene with Kara, I thought was awesome. But yeah, that thing, Deanna is talking to Adama now, and she shows him the footage from the attempt to interview Ty. And Deanna, Adama apologizes to her about how Ty acted, but she said, "Well, why wasn't he charged with or anything? Why for the incident?" And Adama says, "We're at war with an enemy that doesn't care." And Deanna said, "Why does that matter?" And Adama said, "It's just, we're gonna live with it." So now we see a Viper coming in, and obviously it's Cat. So Cat is having trouble landing, and Cat has to wave off her landing. So yeah. I think this is where they find out Cat's on stims. And so Kara has to step in and actually guide Cat in. And so Deanna's in the background, obviously shooting. She's got the camera on her own. So Cat's almost gonna crash land here. This is kind of a tense moment, and in between, they kind of interspersed a little biographical interview that Cat's doing with for this little documentary. They're interspersing it in between her actual tense moment landing. Then Lee comes down and said, "What the hell happened? Cat's made the trap like 100 times." And Kara's like, "101's a real bitch, huh?" So then they go and find out that Cat's been taking stims, and Cat is like stimmed out of her fucking mind right now. So they're strapping her onto to a stretcher, and they take her off to obviously sick bay, and so they're filming the interaction right now, the conversation between Starbuck and Apollo, and then they are following Cat to the brig, to the sick bay, and all of a sudden you see they kind of pick up a little bit of footage of Sharon. And because Sharon is obviously fighting with Cottle, like, don't you touch me, you know, don't hurt my baby. And so that's pretty damning right there. So we're running into a really interesting dynamic here because you're talking about wow, you know, that could be bombshell footage, and obviously we'll get into it more when we hit the end of the episode. But yeah, this is a pretty crazy thing right here, pretty crazy sequence. I thought there's more exposition on Kat being on stims because obviously after this episode, she continues to take stims here and there, and it doesn't become as much of a problem as it is in this episode. But yeah, you're gonna find out. Like, definitely, it's like me and Steven were discussing earlier. The sort of relationship between Kat and Starbuck, and where the animosity between them kind of kicks off, is sort of from this episode and kind of carries forward from there. And they really, Kat and Starbuck, do not like each other one bit. And it eventually it boils over and it comes to a head, and it gets really bad, and no pun intended, it turns into a cat fight. But we'll see that as this goes along. But this is where that whole beef kind of begins. Yeah, Nano Horizon, I really do encourage you to rewatch this. It is very good. I actually, like I said, I find this episode pretty fascinating, to tell you the truth. It's quite interesting. So, all right, let's continue. So Adama's made his way now down to sick bay, and Deanna is laying back in sick bay, and she's just chilling. She's got her camera and everything, and Adama walks in, and he does not have a pleased look on his face. Yeah. And she said, why would Galactica be harboring a Cylon? Because she knows. Adama asked her straight up for the tape, and he said, and she asked, did the baby survive? and Adama's like, you understand that even a hint of this gets out. Yeah, she said, Deanna finishes the sentence, said, this could turn the entire fleet against you. And Adama said, the real question is whether or not it matters to you. And she said, you know, she lays it on thick now. She's like, I'm sick of you questioning my patriotism. We all need the fleet to survive. But little does he know that, you know, she's a Cylon. And this whole excursion was probably to get info on Sharon in the first place. Which, again, we'll get into it more at the end. But, you know, and I know I kind of just spilled the beans there a little bit. But yeah, you know, it's quite interesting because you're starting to see it come into focus a little bit. Thankfully, my ad blocker is making these ads go faster since it blocks them pretty good. And so we're back from the commercial, and then they're interviewing, or sort of semi-interviewing Baltar, or Baltar's trying to get them to interview him. But and so Angel 6 is like pushing Gaius, like get through the pleasantries and tell her why you deserve to lead the fleet. Yeah. It's funny, like Deanna says, I understood your party on Cobalt took several casualties. And Baltar's like, they were heroes, everyone. And then there's an action station's alarm. So everybody's booking off the battle stations. So obviously Deanna and her cameraman, they run in to go see what's going on. And there's 2 raiders coming in. And so they're going to launch alert fighters. I kind of like this because it's really hectic. It's really hectic and really awesome, and you kind of see like the way when they're doing action stations, just how awesome it is. And the Viper launch footage in this is really cool too, because you'll notice like you actually get to see them like pushing the Vipers into the tubes and everything. And I really like this portion of the episode. To be honest, this is really badass. So they're kind of just interspersing now. You're getting the cuts between the CIC and the hangar deck and whatnot. So Apollo and Starbuck are the ones that are sent out to engage the enemy. So it's pretty much like the next like few minutes are just interspersing cuts, between the hangar deck, the CIC. You hear the comm chatter over the radio, and that's pretty much that. And then and it's pretty much the perspective from inside the ship. And so then you see them stand down from action stations. But it's kind of cool because you don't actually see the Vipers kill footage from nailing the Cylons. But it's pretty awesome nonetheless. And Deanna asked the question as she asked Duala, does this ever get any easier? And Duala says, no, this only gets harder. And I found that to be like pretty awesome too. You know, and the cameraman asked Lee, how did it go out there? And Lee says, we didn't lose anyone, so that's a good day. So it's interesting. So now Ty's walking back to his quarters, and he finds Ellen like bound and gagged on the floor. So then we cut to ads now. So we'll hold it right there for a couple seconds. But yeah, I really like this, the way that that they laid it out. This episode's really cool. Hi, Moira. It's great to see you. This is out of all of the episodes so far, when you do watch this, if you're a Battlestar fan, it's super unique. The way that it's shot, the way that it's just laid out for you. It's the most unique episode, I think, in Galactica, just because of the way that everything comes together. So. Yeah, so we'll get into the thing with Ty here in a second. We're gonna have to really do a lightning round through the second episode, guys. But we will definitely knock it out. It's coming. So, all right. So we cut back to Deanna and her cameraman are reviewing their footage and everything else. And they sort of they see the one lieutenant that was in charge of the so we cut back to they see that the lieutenant has a book in his hand. We cut back to Ty's quarters. Ty's been knocked to the floor, and it's by Lieutenant Palladino. And Palladino is the one that had led the Marines on the Gideon. So he holds Ty responsible for basically like ruining his life. And so we're in a very tense standoff now as Gideon is holding Ty at gunpoint. And he's gonna he's about to shoot him. So Ty steps up and he says somebody has to pay for what happened on the Gideon. I sent you there. And then Ty just like Ty finds his balls in this moment and just sticks his forehead right up against the gun. And he's like, come on, son, do it. And then he said, and then Ty grabs the gun from him and said, Gideon was an accident. This is a choice. And finally, as that's happening, the Marines show up. Deanna's with them. and apparently she had probably told the Marines what's going on. She's filming the whole thing as Ty unties his wife, no pun intended, and then we cut to where she's interviewing Kat in the infirmary, and talking about Kat's experience with why she chose to go on stims. And so it cuts to the command crew and Rosalind are now watching the finished or rough cut, I guess, of the documentary on Colonial One. And Ty says it's a hatchet job. He said, I've seen enough. And he said, you show us with our pants down and our asses hanging out. And so Adama stands up for it and says, hey, she put a human face on the Guardians of the Fleet, warts and all, and I'm proud of it. And he tells Deanna that she can show it to the entire fleet. So there's that. And the nice little bonus for anybody with that likes TOS, we get the original Galactica anthem in this episode. At the end of the episode, you get the really triumphant orchestral type of Galactica anthem, and I thought that was a really great touch because I got all the original series feels at the end of this episode, which made it awesome. That's kind of funny. Like in the end, you figure even though that that it proves eventually it's proven that Deanna is a Cylon. It's revealed at the end of the episode. She actually did do a interesting. She actually did do a fair job on the documentary, which is surprising. But really and truly, the whole reason that she went undercover as a reporter was at the time the Cylons were trying to find out what was happening with Sharon. That was the little backstory, and we see that here in a minute because the final scene we cut to like a little movie theater. Presumably, I don't think it's on a base ship. It's probably somewhere on one of the fleet ships or Caprica, but we see a 6. We see an 8. Oh, it's on Cylon occupied Caprica. So we see a 6. We see an 8. We see a 5 model, which is Doral, and of course, Deanna's in there. So here is the actual reveal of Deanna as the Cylon, because she's telling the other Cylon that. So there's your big reveal at the end. Deanna is the Cylon. And that, my friends, is episode 8, final cut. So then we will go ahead in a minute here. We'll take a quick breather, and we will do episode 9. So I'll go ahead and give my my score for episode 8 here in a second. So I think that with this episode, again, this was very unique. We got Deanna as a Cylon, so that's a plus right there, because that just makes the Cylons way cooler. We got a lot of interesting perspectives from the colonial side, just like little interesting things that I don't think you normally catch in an episode, in any episode that we've done up to this point. And I really like the way the perspectives that they shoot the red alert in when the action stations call comes in. I thought that was really awesome. Pretty interesting storyline with Palladino kind of going apeshit, and the death threats, and sort of hanging it over Ty. Thought that was interesting. To me, Final Cut was one of my I kind of enjoy that episode out of all of them in season 2. I would say that it was probably a 8.5 for me. It was around an 8.5. I think I don't want to say it was a 10, but I don't want to say it sucked. So I definitely think, like I said, it was very quality. So 8 or 8.5. I'll go with 8.5. I think 8.5 is what fits. So Final Cut was really good, and then definitely the reveal at the end of Deanna's Cylon, and the interesting way that they're going to play off this now with the baby, and with Sharon, aka Athena, being alive. It's quite interesting. Adega, how are you, buddy? It's great to see you. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So all in all, this was a good episode from start to finish. So yeah, that one was pretty awesome. And now, like I said, here in a second, we'll go ahead and start episode number 9, which it will be Flight of the Phoenix. So this next one, I think that this episode was one of my favorites for season 2, period. Because there's just so many cool things about episode 9. So, all right. So if anybody wants to come on for the back half of this episodic review, please let me know before we get into it. Because, again, if anybody would like to come on and co-host, you are more than welcome to do so. I do need a co-host, so please feel free. If anybody wants to come on and help, because, like I said, I'm pulling the weight solo tonight, and I can definitely use some help, considering that Script Doctor's stuck in meetings. Bear Nerd Fun obviously is having some issues, so he couldn't make it tonight. And if he does make it, he's going to be in quite late. I've got Steven that did some, shout out to Steven for doing some great work, trying his best to get through the first half. And of course, Raquel, who had a death in her immediate family. Our thoughts go out to her. She couldn't make it tonight either. So it is just me. So if anybody would like to come in and co-host, you can give it a try. You are more than welcome. And I would gladly accept the help. So here we go. Oh, hey there, Bear.
Hey.
How are you?
I've had a chaotic house, 5-year-old and a 6-year-old that is genius in their mastering of disaster.
Yeah,
just being kids.
I've been hosting the show solo, essentially.
Yeah, I seen that. I just finished. When I start watching, it's taken me this whole day just to watch episode 9 because they'll come in and want my attention. I'll have to stop what I'm doing, stuff like that, So yeah, it's been very distracting.
I'm glad that you actually came in for episode 9 because we just hit episode 9. I just finished up episode 8. We had pretty good discussion. Regardless, Steven came in and tried to do what he could. He's in a lot of dental pain, so he really couldn't hang out for the whole thing. But he tried to do.
Hey, I could sympathize because I've had molars in oral surgery removed.
Yeah, same.
Because it was so much pain. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what he's going through. It's blinding.
Yeah.
It'll get so bad, your molar. There's a nerve right there where your last molar is.
Yeah.
And I know what he's going through. That nerve is going right into his ear. He's probably getting a really bad earache along with a really bad headache up the side of his head from it. And it hurts so bad, it'll go around the front of your jaw and your chin will freaking hurt.
Oh, I feel like, we're like we're like the Pegasus Actual podcast, but we're like the Walking Wounded podcast because my God, dude, I was I'm sitting here in pain myself because my that area under my shoulder blade is like throbbing pain, and then of course the nerve pain and everything in my arm. So we're all toughing it out in warmer fashion tonight. So yeah, that's where we're at. So again, if anybody wants to join in with us, speak now or forever hold your peace. Feel free to send me a DM on Twitter. I will gladly send you a StreamYard link. And again, you can join in as well. And
and guess what? Remember, if you shake it too much, you're playing with it.
you can be our special guest. So if you've always wanted to try your hand at co-hosting on a stream or anything else, please feel free to come in and join in the discussion. We would always be up for company. So we'll go ahead and we will start episode 9. So kind of get past the beginning here. I'm just sort of doing it on the fly because I didn't take any notes.
I didn't take any notes either, but I did watch the episode. It's hard to take notes when the kids are like asking me a million questions.
I had doctor's appointments today and everything like that.
And I seen what you posted earlier. A few different choices.
Yeah.
I went through something similar that you had going on, but it wasn't as bad for me, and because you got that numbness that goes down the top of your shoulder and down the top of your arm and top of your hand, right?
Yeah.
And if you turn your neck and stick your arm out, you get a weird twingy feeling.
Yeah.
Only with you, there's more pain involved.
Yeah.
I experienced something like that, and a lot of what was causing it at the time is I was sleeping on a couch, and I actually eventually got feeling back. But and it was my neck area, definitely probably arthritis, but it eventually just went away. But I think what you got going on, I think it's a hell of a lot worse than what I experienced.
Yeah, it is because along with the stuff I already had going on, I got the diagnosis of a pretty bad herniated disc. So that's what's causing most of the nerve pain that I'm experiencing, and probably the pain in my back for sure.
Yeah, I've had the experience of having 2 different back injuries.
Yeah.
And first one didn't involve what you call nerve pain, spasms. And the second one, that was a couple years ago. And basically, I went to physical therapy. And physical therapy actually really did help, even though it was the bare minimum of physical therapy. But it did help. And you're probably going to want to take up that physical therapy and see if it'll help you. Have you looked into doing Tai Chi?
No,
It's low impact, and I'd ask your doctor about it because it involves stretching and moving and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
My mentor that's not here, he was a Tai Chi master. Not only that, he was also a black belt.
yeah, I was telling the chat next week I'll be getting a shot most likely in my back or neck, and that should give me some relief for a little while, probably at least a week or so, and then I'll more than likely be back to square one, and then we'll go from there. I've got to follow up in 3 weeks, so I've got time to kind of think about surgery and whatever. So.
So yeah, that's a hell of a thing, that kind of particular surgery.
Yeah.
But they have come a long way with how their technology is when they do that now.
Yeah, but the only problem is, the problem he found with my surgery is the build that I have, because I have a thick neck and sort of a wider chest bone. He told me, he's surgery is going to be tricky. I'm not sure if it's going to be successful. It's going to make it really difficult.
Did he mention chiropractic? Going to a chiropractor?
No, but he said it's up to you if you want to.
Just for giggles, man, go get the opinion of a chiropractor.
Oh, I've already had one. I've already had one appointment with the chiropractor.
Is that the kind of are they recommending that, your doctor?
No, I just went to one on my own. But my doctor said, it's up to me if I wanted to continue with chiropractor too.
Well, yeah, I definitely all the stuff medical file wise, go take it to your chiropractor and say, hey, this is what's going on, and he'd be able to give you some advice whether you should or shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, the chiropractor told me, if I keep going to him, he could probably fix the disc problem, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, because I I know of a lot of people that have got help through chiropractic. I don't know if it's specific to your situation, but I know people that had back problems, stuff like that, and chiropractor help them. If I even saying that right, tie my tongue in words, in knots. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the episode. We got some interesting things going on. Obviously, at the beginning, we've got kind of the little quick recap was just they showed from earlier in the season the Cylon's ability to hack networks and virus up stuff. We had once it got out of that, we saw a big Cylon fleet, heavy raiders, regular raiders, everything like that. And then we get into the hangar deck. We see the chief kind of going over a Viper that needed to be serviced, and he's having flashbacks of Sharon, and you could tell he's just sitting there as he's going, tracing his way down the wings of the Viper and whatnot. He's his thoughts are with Sharon and or with thinking about Boomer, really. And then obviously we have a card game going on in the rec room. Hilo is there and he sees Starbuck sitting in on the card game, so he comes over and says hi to Starbuck, and Starbuck greets him warmly. She asks him if he wants to sit in, and he said no, because the chief's getting, or the chief, Hilo's getting all kind of looks from the people sitting around the poker table, because they're not quite sure how to process the fact that his woman's a Cylon, and nobody's standing up for him but Starbuck. She stands up for him and said, as Hilo kind of walks away, so she asks him, "Hey, do you want to sit in?" He said, "No, maybe next time," and he walks away. And Starbuck says, "I don't care what y'all think. He saved my ass down there," meaning on Caprica. And
how far in is the card game?
That is in at about 2 minutes 38 seconds. Or about 2:28, whichever.
Because I'm at 2:03 and he's looking at the ship. The old the Mark 1.
Yeah, but this is
okay. I'm seeing the card game now.
Yeah. So anyhow, Hilo walks off, and then you've got you've got basically he's having more flashbacks of Boomer, and then finally, after he puts a tag on the Viper as unserviceable scrap, you see that we cut to Callie. She's down in the tool room, and everybody's greeting Callie back because she's now been released from the brig. For at the time, she was being held in the brig because she killed Boomer, but now she has been released, obviously, and from what she said, she's been discharged, or she's been charged with, or she was only charged with discharging a firearm illegally. So
yeah, she served 30 was it 30 days in the brig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she served her 30 days in the brig, and then she's out now. And so she's down there, everybody's greeting her, and then she greets the chief. the chief kind of, sort of gives Callie the cold shoulder. And then he walks off, and he's up on the hangar deck where Hilo is sitting with the bottle of liquor, sitting in a Raptor on the hangar deck as well. And the chief starts talking to Hilo, and they start talking about Sharon, and they're kind of going back and forth. Then we cut back to the rec room. Racetrack is bitching about the fact that, I can't do this where every day I pretend that card game is the highlight of my day, and Starbucks trying to, calm her down, said Earth is out there, whatever. And then basically Starbucks gets up and walks away, because card game is essentially over. Racetrack folded and whatnot. So Carol wins. So she's just getting up and walk away. Racetrack makes a snide comment about Hilo fracking the Cylon, and Starbuck turns around and plants her head firmly in the table. And that is where we kind of leave off for now. So what are your thoughts up to this point, Bear?
Well, the overall feeling of this episode, you got the beginning, and then it starts out with what I noticed most was there was the recap in the very beginning, and then you had the card game, and then Starbucks standing up for Hilo, and I'm noticing that Chief, he's checking out the Mark One, and he's noticing the lines, but it's not really what he's thinking about. He's thinking about his former relationship with the Sharon that was shot, and the fact that soon to be Athena call sign, that'll be her call sign coming soon.
Right, exactly.
But the other Sharon that's with Hilo, that's having his child.
Athena is Hilo's.
Right. And so he's going down memory lane with his Sharon.
Yeah.
And he's getting this, and you can see there's idea formulating. You can literally see it.
Right.
And then he starts here in a minute. He's going to come up with that idea. And the episode's name is Blackbird, right?
No, it's called
Blackbird.
Phoenix.
All right, because I heard the term Blackbird. I think
they ripped it straight off that movie, off the title of that movie, which I always thought was cheesy because Flight of the Phoenix was a good
right.
But they totally ripped that title from that movie. But yeah, like I mean, this episode should have been called Blackbird instead. But I thought this was an interesting way to start it, and like I said, I'm gonna pause it for a second because I'm gonna use the restroom. But yeah, we'll get into the rest here in a second. So just feel free.
Yeah, I got some pretty decent subtitles on this that are popping up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I sent you a direct message on Twitter. Go into there, open that up, use your phone, open it up, and then install it.
What is that?
Yeah, you'll see when you install it. It's pretty cool. It's cool. It's a good app.
All right.
It'll solve some problems. Let's say.
All right. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. So talk to the chat, Eric.
So how is everyone doing? How's everyone doing in the chat? So yeah, so Hilo's, he's getting some flack from his fellas that he has going on there, and it's because he's got this relationship with Sharon that he was on the planet with, and Starbucks sticking up for him, and so you can see this,
they've been in this situation. It's a stressful situation, the end of humanity, and everyone's stressed. They're taking out their stress on one another and stuff like that. You got both Hilo and Chief literally getting into it, and it's oversharing. It's oversharing completely, and because they're just going at it, you know, swing for swing, slug for slug. They're literally going at it, and they don't know why they're mad at each other, and they're just fighting, and because his Sharon's dead and his isn't, and it just comes right down to it. They're kind of fighting over Sharon. One has the memory of her, and the other has the real thing. And Chief's suffering with it, and he's going through an ordeal with it, and he's just going through some stuff, you know, big time. And so they're dealing emotionally on an emotional level with one another, and coming to terms. Basically, they're both just pissed and all that, and they come to a stalemate and realize, shit, we're fighting each other for just no reason. They're just upset, so they're taking it out on one another. And then he switched scenes, and Gata is talking with the XO.
All right, I'm back. Where are we, sir?
We're at where the Gata is talking with the XO and talking with Adama.
Yeah, did you go over the like brawl that they had?
Yes.
In the thing, and that was a pretty big brawl.
What's up, Tox Manflu?
Yeah, what's up, Tox? Welcome back to the chat.
Hey, Angelo Straven, Parrot Head, how you doing?
Yep. Yeah, man. AD and Parrot Head and Tox have been in here for a while, and so we're at the part where
it's going through the intro.
Yeah, Adama's talking to Gata, tells him pull himself together.
Yep. For some reason, the subtitles didn't work on that particular part.
Yeah.
Well, now it's back.
And Adama's basically talking to Ty here, and he said the crew needs a rest. Their old lives are gone.
Yeah, but you know what? It's true though, man. They do need a diversion. They need something that they can work together on that'll bring them together.
Yeah.
Gets rid of stress.
So they're looking at the Apollo's talking to the chief about his Viper. He wants to get his Viper airborne, and he said it ain't going to be, anytime soon.
It's like, a fracking fact.
What do you want me to do? Work my crew to death? And Apollo's like, no, just do your best. And he's just the chief's losing it at this point, basically. And he can't sleep. He's laying in his rack. So then he goes down and the chief starts working on a project. He's just like dicking around, and he starts building this thing from scratch. And slowly but surely, the deck crew is coming down, and they're checking out what's going on.
So they're talking. Who did they ground? They ground somebody.
No, they didn't ground anybody, I don't think.
Somebody was grounded. Or they grounded one of the ships or something they're talking about.
Yeah, there was a Viper that was out of commission, that one that he was...
Because Apollo's talking with Chief right now.
Yeah.
Basically, he's asking Apollo when the ships are going to be fixed. No one's expecting any miracles. And you can see the expression on Chief's face like, yeah, I don't need this stress. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I think this is where, this right here, this scene where okay, basically this is where the idea for making a ship came from, because it's like basically everybody is so tired from basically always fixing stuff, always having to patch this, always having to fix that Viper, and they're all stressed out. And you know, they need something to distract them from that stress. And so getting together and building a ship is a really good distraction. And this is basically where Apollo's trying to push Chief to go faster to work on something. And then I think this is basically where the idea foments. I think this is where it's at, where it happens. And you could see where it started, where he was checking out the Mark I and its lines and all that stuff. You can see there was ideas fermenting right there. And Chief's irritated with Apollo. He's ticked off. And so this is where the idea about making another fighter, basically. And from then it just morphed into something that can go really fast. And who doesn't like something that goes fast?
Oh yeah, exactly. And I found it interesting. It's funny because like the deck crew comes down and you think there's going to be like this thing where they're just going to automatically pitch in and help, and then Jammer, that fucking man. It's funny, back when we were watching this episode and we had the old forums back when this originally aired. Jammer, like, oh god, Jammer was universally hated. The guy in the yellow suit.
Yeah, no one really liked him because he was the opposite shift chief, right?
He was just a deck worker, but he was just a dick, and everybody hated him because he was just like that prick that everybody has at their job. That one pessimistic prick that you're just like, God, shut the fuck up. You want to tell that guy that all the time.
Absolutely.
And so he pipes in and is like, no, this is impossible. Nobody could do that. It takes avionics and life support and everything. And the Chiefs was sitting there like, well, fine. I don't need any of you then. Fuck it. Go back to work. That's an order. He chases them out of there. And then, it's just like, you see that scene and you just want to reach through the screen and fucking punch him. It's like,
oh, absolutely.
It's just like, you just want to punch him like, shut the fuck up, dude. I mean, oh God. That scene just got on my nerves, dude. Oh my God. That bugged the shit out of me. And then you move over to the next scene. Now, the next scene is really kind of powerful because we see Coddle, and he's got Rosalind in sick bay with him. Obviously, he gave Rosalind her chart to go ahead and read through, and she's reading her medical chart right now, and she's just kind of she's realizing that she doesn't have much time because she just read the diagnosis, and now Coddle tells her.
And you knew Coddle was feeling something for her because he didn't light a cigarette.
Yeah,
he's always chain smoking, and he didn't light one. You knew he felt something for her, an emotion for her, because he knew he was giving her bad news.
Well, he's a good doctor.
Because you know what happened when she asked him to put a cigarette once before.
Yeah.
It's like, and what about it? I don't think so. Yeah, I would. So yeah, she's getting some bad news, and he didn't light a cigarette up, and that spoke volumes. I think how much respect he had for her.
Yeah, and so then obviously Rosalind's overwhelmed at the news. She asks how long does she have, and he tells her a few weeks, maybe a month, and then she goes into another cubicle for a second to gather herself, And she walks back out and she said, will I be able to work? And he said, unless the cancer goes to your brain. And she kind of like shakes her head like, oh God, I don't want to think about that. And then
the color in her face drained.
Yep. And then obviously we cut away from there and we cut to the firing range where, Lee and Kara and Hot Dog are all getting some shots in. And
uh-oh. That ain't good. The oxygen gauges were turning to the red. Not good. Apparently, Starbucks a really good shot, but the oxygen gauges are going into the red. That is not good. And they're not even noticing it.
Yep.
But they're all acting all euphoric and laughing. It's like, okay, there isn't laughing gas being let into the room, okay?
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's all these weird things going on within Galactica. And it's a residual. We're going to find out that this is a residual thing of Cylon virus.
There goes Hot Dog. Down for the count.
Mm-hmm.
Now Starbucks is laughing her head off, and they know something's wrong. And Starbucks still laughing. Hot Dog's gasping. So was Apollo. What makes me wonder is how many whiskeys Starbucks had before this.
And she just kind of
She's laughing just a little bit too much there, I'd say.
She kind of cracks up like, and obviously this is because the air's getting thin and it fucking with their head right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like hilarious. It's not intentionally hilarious, this thing. But the hatch is sealed.
So she's reaching for her gun.
Yeah.
Starbuck can barely freaking get up. The look on his face is just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Even though they're dying. Whoops, missed the window.
Yep. So
firing in a tin can, ricochet.
Yeah. So yeah, right now, like weird, like little things are happening aboard the ship. And again, we're going to find out a little bit later in the episode that this has to do with the residuals left from the Cylon virus a few episodes before. So
they're using the Cylon round now.
So you got to remember, they didn't, even though that they thought that when they shut those firewalls down, like in the second episode of the season, whatever, or in the first one, this was the first one or the second one. But anyways, you'll find this is coming back now and showing that, okay, in their computers, there was actually residuals left.
Yep.
So
basically, they're talking about a heuristic virus.
Yeah, exactly.
Hiding in the systems, growing and learning.
Yeah, and you're going to find that out here shortly. But that is why, like, you're having problems with doors being sealed, things like
the malfunction with the oxygen in that room,
power fluctuations, yeah, everything like that. So this is starting to become an issue. So yeah, it gets quite interesting.
So Cylons infiltrated. You were shot. They infiltrated the computer system, is what they're saying.
So yeah,
they're talking about it with Baltar and
Apollo. Well, hang on, don't jump too far ahead, Bear, because we're still in the brig here, or in the firing range. Starbuck misses the shot on the door. Starbuck misses 2 shots on the door.
Yeah, I think I was ahead of you a little bit there.
Yeah. And so we're almost at 0 point on our oxygen. And so
She used a Cylon round.
so they
That's
loaded
like
it.
the grand poobah, the grand hurrah. This don't work, we're doomed.
So we load the explosive round.
Kaboom.
Yep. So Gata told him, yeah. So Gata's going over doing a diagnostic. Yep.
And they're pretty
And
much there.
Baltar explains what's going on.
I believe Gata is asking, how do you kill it?
Yeah.
And Baltar's getting ready to answer. Well, that's the tricky part. If it's a Cylon virus, extremely difficult to eradicate. Well, I guess I'm pretty lucky then, says Adama. Because I have an expert aboard. Tell Hito to run this past our prisoner. Gotta love it when the captions work.
I like Adama's comment, like, how do you kill it? That's great.
Men chattering. Come on, come on. For frack's sake. That's Adama. Son of a bitch, Adama says.
Yeah, so Adama said, tell Hilo to run it past our prisoner.
Yep.
So, so obviously Athena is going to come into play in this episode.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, because basically she's probably going to know about Cylon viruses.
So now we're back to the chief working on Blackbird, and he's got Fagursky helping him.
So yeah, it looks like he's got a few people that are helping.
So Jammer steps in and he's finally helping.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with the winch.
Yep.
And when you got the winch and then you have to go hold the other piece, yeah. And they're still experiencing power spikes because you can see the lights all flickering.
Yeah.
And like you said, Jammer just now pops up and says, "Oh, I'm going to help now." Adama's looking down and enjoying what he's seeing.
Yeah.
He's liking the camaraderie.
Yeah, and Adama, and Ty have a discussion about it. He's like, "Have you seen what the chief is building?" And Ty's like, "Yeah, we need to focus." Ty's being the asshole, and of course, and Adama's like, "I'm not going to take that away from them.
This project's giving them something. Something to go take that away until I have to."
And now we see the beginning of Lee and Juwala's romance.
They're in the CIC right now.
Yeah.
Chit chat between XO and Adama.
Yeah, that's what I was just at. You're a little behind me.
Well, I've been pausing here and there so that way we can get things synced up. Now the sparring session with
Duwala and Apollo. So that's like the little beginning of the precursor of Apollo and Duala and their little romance.
Yeah, she definitely takes notice
Oh yeah.
of chemistry.
So now we're down at the cell where Hilo is talking to Athena.
So basically, she's saying, or he's saying, I'm gonna just drop the knee, rotate 45 degree, and then it's gonna be owie for somebody. You can tell when he's positioning her for the move, and you can see there's chemistry there.
Sure.
Close contact, in sparring.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and then we'll kind of take a pause as soon as we go through the next sequence here. So next sequence after that, there's that little moment between Apollo and Duala, and of course she sees Billy, who has come down to the gym, and she runs out the corridor to greet Billy, and then Apollo's like, "Fuck, I'm friend zoned." He's just like,
yeah, and you can see the moment where she realizes, holy shit, there's chemistry here.
yeah.
She
But
did the double take, and that's right when you said Billy showed up.
Yep, and then Apollo's like, "God damn it, I'm friend zoned."
Yeah, he's been friended.
But anyhow, after they cut away from Apollo, you get to where Hilo is on the phone. He's down at the special cell that they constructed for to keep Athena in the I guess sub brig where they keep Cylon prisoners that they constructed, and Hilo is on the phone talking to Athena, and he's kind of talking to her about the chief and whatnot. He's like, "Do you have any memories of seeing the chief?" And she's like, "Yeah, and then he's like, "All right, we got to get to this now," and he's showing her the printouts of the Cylon virus, and she's like, "Okay, flip the page," and he flips it, and she's reading the next lines of code, and then she kind of like drops the phone and backs away for a minute, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And then
Logic bomb.
she comes back to the phone. She's like, "Yeah, it's a Cylon logic bomb. It's going to run its course in a matter of hours. It's going to take over systems. It's going to make try to crash us into other ships. It's going to suffocate the crew. It's going to blow up the weapon stores. This is bad. I need to talk to Commander Adama immediately." And so then what we're going to see now is obviously they got to do something about it. So we're gonna see some things pretty hefty pretty quick. So all right, let's continue in here. All right, my stupid computer has to get through the ads.
Yeah, I'll let mine run until it gets to the part where you're going to be at.
Yeah.
Because they're still talking about the logic bomb.
Okay, yeah.
On my end.
I'll wait
because the subtitles,
yeah,
they're a little bit advanced.
Yep.
And
I'll
so
wait
it
till
would.
you get. I'll wait.
The subtitles weren't really matched up too good, but there are good subtitles. Can't beat that. Now Adama is at the part where he's going to be talking with Sharon. And he's going to basically receive the intel that she talked with about Hilo and what she said it was. Still going through the ads.
And so we see the Cylon fleet getting closer. You know, that's our first cut coming out of this. And here's all right. So Adama makes his way down to cell, and you know, Sharon gets up and she says, "Commander Adama," and he's like, "Whatever you gotta say it quick." And then it cuts away. Damn it! You know, just when you think it's good. So it cuts away, and then we're
now
back.
they're in the hangar.
We're in the hangar deck now, and we see the chief working on the ship. Apollo's like, the cockpit's too far back, and you're going to run into some problems. And Starbuck's like, well, we're going for speed here.
There's D.
Yeah.
Apollo's like, where'd you come from? The expression on his face.
So she's installing the comms.
Yep, installing comms, and for some reason my subtitles are in the next scene already. It's really weird, but they're still on the deck.
So Ty comes down and
I need engines.
It's so
Permission to cannibalize one of the wrecks, sir.
It's so yeah, like Ty's busting their balls about the whole CIC being down there, whatever, and then you know, he's like, "Where's the chief?" You know, and Kara's like getting some rack time, and so he goes back in the supply room. The chief's in there, and he's got that still, and you know, the chief's like, you know, like, "What is this, chief?" "Oh, I'm making solvent."
Chief's like,
and
jars, jars with lids,
and then
clear stuff in them.
And then Ty's like, solvent my ass. You know, I know what's going when I see it, and you know, it's funny as hell. Yeah, and so the chief says, you know.
Basically, he Chief's saying he needs parts, and you know, he would never ever admit it, but you know, the XO, he really is a big softy when it comes to the needs of his men.
Yeah.
DDG 62 on the flight deck. Yep. Yep, he's telling him, well, go in the flight deck, it's there for you. It's there. He's a big softy. He doesn't want to commit to it, but he is. Certain areas, when it comes to his men's needs, he's a softy. He makes sure his people got what they need.
Of course, Ty grabs a
of course
to take with him.
Hey, you like to drink your whiskey?
Yeah.
There's homemade whiskey being made. And it's like,
yeah.
I think I'm going to keep quiet about this, and I'll have one. Because who don't like some homemade moonshine? Yeah. Cares for his men, so it solves their engine problem. Waiting for ads again. Next scene coming up is where Adama's talking with the president.
Yep. So the president's getting ready to take off. She tries to give Adama back the book that he lent her, and you know, he said it was a gift. Then he explains to her that this is an all-out. This is a prelude to an all-out attack by the Cylons. That there's a virus affecting the Galactica's computers, and she said you tried to disable it, right? And he said, yeah. Gata and the vice president are working on it. And she said, well, I'm not sure I can offer you much but moral support. But he said, I think I need your advice on something. And then it cuts to the CIC. Gata's telling Ty that he wants to wipe the drives and do a full reboot.
Yeah, my subtitles are way ahead.
Yeah.
So Gate is telling him that he can do all that, and I believe the XO said,
Yeah.
Commander, I'm not sure what I can offer you here. That's what's messed up about these subtitles. I'm not sure where this is happening at. Because I'm getting ready to switch scenes to where Gate is talking with the XO. Cold restart entire ship. Restore them using backups.
Yeah.
Commander will never go for this. What did he say? He's considering. It's the only way. Calculated jump. Distance on these Cylon ships. You can't risk a jump.
Yeah, they can't risk a jump because the Cylons, the navigation's been compromised. They might wind up right in the middle of a sun or a planet, so they can't do that.
Yeah, let's put you in the middle of a sun, or quasar for that matter. Jeez.
So then we go back to Adama and Rosalind, and Adama's basically asking her, he's saying, look, I went to see a Cylon prisoner. I got some intel. Maybe she can help us, and Rosalind brings up a good point. And this is very key right here. She says, while I think that your judgment could have been clouded by you having a history with this particular Cylon model,
yeah.
Don't forget,
personal feelings can cloud your judgment.
Yeah. She said, don't forget. On the other hand, we built them. There may be a chance to find some common ground. And she's got a point. Because Adama said, this isn't the one that shot me. This is different. And Rosalind's point is, well, yeah, just how different are they?
Yeah.
But she did say, there is a chance we could find some common ground. So the next cut that we get is Sharon's in full shackles, but she's being led to the CIC. Sharon, aka Athena Sharon.
Right.
So she's being brought into the CIC now, and we know the Cylon fleet is en route. So she said, "We need to work quickly." And Ty's just sitting there. The close up on Ty is hilarious. He's just like shaking his head. And so they take the handcuffs off of Sharon.
Yeah. Hold on. The Ty's face was so serious you could use the chop wood with.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Like the details she knows. She's like she asked Dee for her dad's pocket knife. She's like, "You still carry your father's pocket knife?" Which I found awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom was like, "Do it."
Yep. Gata. He's setting her up, and this is where it gets like kind of like weird because like she like basically slices open her wrist. She strips a cable and she slices open her wrist and plugs herself in that way. And here's all the Cylons.
But Drew, not only does she plug herself in, she shoves it way up there, and then it goes snap click into something.
Yep.
I found the snap click sound interesting.
Yep.
It's like, huh, that's a data port.
So Galactica scrambles their Vipers to the Cylon fleet's nearly on top of them. So you've got a stalemate. Oh wow! And
so the Vipers are gonna send a signal to activate the virus.
No, the Cylon Raiders will send a signal.
Roll hard 6, right, Commander?
Yeah. So just to kind of pause it there. This is where it gets like really interesting because like
where I pause it at? What the hell is she doing?
Yeah,
I think that's XO. It was saying that.
But while I'm on like Baltar's just sitting there looking at it, like I'm paused it and Baltar just has this expression on his face. But the funny thing is like we're getting to like the point here where we're getting into the climax of the episode. But the cool thing is, Sharon is helping them and she's telling them flat out like, look. We need to get this plugged in. We need to do this, this, and this before the Cylons send the signal to activate the virus. Because if you go back to the miniseries, that's exactly what they did. They activated, they sent a signal and activated the CMP program, which then shut down the Vipers cold. And that's a significant thing to remember, guys, because fast forward in a few minutes and you're going to see why that's significant. So I wanted to stop it here and kind of explain that. So
here's what I'm curious about. And so when they removed the CMP system and they put in the analog Dragus, is that correct?
Well, all the Viper Mark IIs, all the white Vipers are automatically analog anyway because they were essentially it would be like flying
basically what I'm asking on the newer ones, the Mark IIs, Mark IIs were the new one, right? Or were they Mark IIIs?
No, Mark IIs were the Mark IIs were like the basically think of them as like World War II era planes.
Right. And so the more modern what I'm curious is
the Mark 7 is the modern one. The
Mark 7, did they put old Dragus systems in those to make
Yes,
them.
they did. They had to retro.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, because that's how Apollo was able to fly his Mark 7, because they put in an older system that was de-networked. So
And it's the networking that gets you.
Yep. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and continue.
I'm at 4404.
So
No, I'm at 3201.
I'm at 3213. So so Sharon plugs the cable in, and she's kind of fiddling with it, and blood's running down her hand, and then it's like in the jack.
Yep. Boomer moaning from the pain. Now she's inserting it into her palm.
The Ty is like, we got to stop this.
Stand by to execute order.
Yep.
Wipe the hard drives now. Do it.
So they're reformatting the hard drives now. Vipers are like in a stalemate. They are pulled up right against the Cylon fleet.
Sharon's interfacing.
Yep.
My God, what are they doing?
Yep. And then
Exo says that.
Then we go to the ads. So very interesting. I really, 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 really like this. This
There
is
must be
why,
hundreds of them.
Yeah, this is why this is
They're forming a grid.
Yeah. I really like the formations, but this is why this is one of my favorite episodes, because I just thought it was done so well.
You know, one of the cool things that they should have wrote into this, they should have wrote in that Doc did surgery and put a port right there so that way she could interface anytime she needed to, so that way they could use Sharon like a weapon against Cylon.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have wrote that in. That'd have been cool. Because who wants to cut their wrist every time they want to interface with the computer? You know what I'm saying?
They weren't exactly welcoming her back with open arms. She's a prisoner.
Yeah, that's very true. But because of all this,
Yeah.
I think she earned the respect of pretty much
No,
everybody.
they're not going to give her. It wasn't that easy.
No, it's not easy. Well, you know.
Yep.
Anything worth working for is hard.
Yep. So here goes the Raiders charging forward. Vipers are getting ready to intercept. Said Cylons are moving in. Ty thinks they're set up because Ty is Ty.
Oh, yeah.
Adama's grabbing the sidearm in case he's being double-crossed. And then he tells Sharon, if they're coming for you, you're going to be disappointed. And then Sharon says, we're waiting on this. And then all of a sudden, guess what? The Raiders are just shifting out of control.
Like Christmas tree lights going out.
Yep.
Blink, 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 blink.
Adama figures it out. Right here.
Yeah.
Apollo calls in, confirms that the Cylons have lost power and drifting.
Exo's talking to him.
And this is my favorite. Ty picks up the phone and answers Apollo. Apollo, this is Galactica. Kill the bastards.
They also said we got this toaster boxed.
Yeah.
I think it was Hot Dog who said that.
So
they really do show the details of those Raiders exploding, and it looked kind of bloody.
Yep. So the Colonials Colonials are getting their. They're basically getting their revenge right now. Adama has a little moment with Sharon right there. They kind of exchange that look like they have a little respect back. And then we cut. Then after that, we cut back to the hangar deck.
Oh yeah, it's starting to look like it's coming right along. You can see them lines and all that. It's yeah. Ooh,
And so the
looks like
so they're trying to figure out where to get metal, and they wind up using like carbon composite, which would be like carbon fiber kind of.
yeah, I believe they said the carbon composite.
Yep.
They didn't. Did they mention fiber or not? I don't remember if they did or didn't.
Composite. So now they're taking it on the test flight. Starbuck launches.
Wow, it's a little all over the place.
Yep.
I'm wondering how much software is going on with the controlling of the stick, with thrusters and all, or if it's all just basic mechanical.
So basically, this thing is bucking like a Bronco. It's a little bit hard to fly.
It's like a flying Bronco, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, it goes fast. Apollo's freaking out. Apollo freaking out and getting a little panicky.
Apollo's freaking out. And then this is like the best because Starbuck reappears and
Sneaky.
then she reminds him it's a stealth ship, remember?
You're not supposed to be able to sense it on Scanus. Salute's going.
But she engaged the stealth system, and apparently that works.
Yeah.
We had a successful test flight, and now this is a good scene right here.
It would be very, and it went away. Oh, yeah. The christening.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Got to have a christening for a ship.
Yep.
White ink pens to sign.
Yep. I really like the scene in the hangar deck, and the speech that the president gives is pretty awesome. And the fact that they kind of like name the ship after her is pretty great.
I don't know. I thought they should have used her last name, called the Roslyn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ah, champagne. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to break a bottle over that composite material.
And obviously, the president is almost moved to tears, and it's just this is a great moment. It's a great moment.
Very emotional. She goes to break the bottle over, and then, nope, just kidding. And a little of the champagne gets thrown on the ship. That's interesting.
So Hilo's getting some mad respect for his idea of using the carbon composite, and so he's being welcomed back as a squadron mate.
Yeah, that's right. It was his idea.
And Rosalind said, it was lovely and everything, and she's talking to Dama. And she said that it wouldn't have been possible if he hadn't trusted the Cylon. And, Rosalind said, "How did you know?" And Adama said, "We both wanted to live." And I thought it was fantastic of a line right there. And so our episode is about to end, and we just have the chief coming down, and he's visiting Athena, and she picks up the phone, and then he's just kind of like looking at her, and then he picks up the phone. And then we fade out to end credits. So there's our episode.
So yeah, I think the whole premise was basically the code name for the ship is Blackbird, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole premise of this episode was everybody being united by working on this ship, and it brought those that had controversies with one another together, and it helped ease those things.
Yeah, we needed a new the crew needed a new energy.
Yeah.
They needed something to sort of bring everybody together, and it kind of just worked out. And also, again, there's some foreshadowing here in a lot of ways. You get the sort of you get the start of some rough trust between Adama and Athena. You get some really interesting insight on Rosalind in this episode. Really kind of start to see that the chief is never going to be over losing Boomer. And you start to kind of get some a little more insight, I think, into what's going on around around the general, like the crew, as far as they had hit a breaking point, and if they have too long where they're just where they don't have an outlet, a lot of negativity breaks out, and we saw that quite a bit. And I think we saw a turning point in this episode, and it was good. It was good. They're in a good place right now, and so we go out on a very positive note. And I thought overall, this episode, to me, it was one of my favorites of season 2 in general. So I give this one for sure in my book. This one was a 9 to me. The way that I looked at it, I thought it was great. It was a 9 where I thought Final Cut was an 8.5. This was definitely a 9 to me. And I think it was more, I'm a little bit of a sucker for a new ship. I always like new ships. And I would always kind of give it a little bit of an extra point for having the stealth ship, because who doesn't like a stealth vehicle? But in general, this episode to me was a 9. I was really good. So I thought it was good start to finish. A lot of action, a lot of good stuff going on. So
Yeah, I give this episode a 9.
yeah,
For the same reasons. I like it. I like a ship being built before my eyes. I like that. 8.5 for episode 8.
yeah. I thought this was great. So yeah, that's Flight of the Phoenix, guys. Make sure next week, hopefully everybody should be back. I know we had to do things kind of shorthanded this week, but that's okay. We made it through, and next week we should have the whole crew back, and we have a special guest next week. Culture Casino will be on for the Pegasus episode. I invited him last night, actually, specifically to come on for the Pegasus episode. So we are going to have Culture Casino with us, and it's going to be a good time. So make sure you tune in for that. And it'll be just a single episode next week. This one counts for Pegasus actual episodes 20 and 21. And so next week will be...
how do you get 20 and 21?
Because we had left off at episode 19. So this is episode...
you're talking total episodes.
Yeah.
No, but
this was a double episode, technically.
Yeah, but they're actually episodes 9 and 10, season 2.
No, I know, but I'm talking about the podcast. This is a double episode because we went.
Yeah.
So that's why I counted it as 2 podcast episodes.
But I'm the 21. I'm trying to grasp where you're coming up with that number at.
Pegasus actual podcast episodes 20 and 21.
Oh, okay. I forgot that they were numbered.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
yeah,
because you didn't have the episode for the Battlestar Galactica.
In the comment, I put join us as we review BSG season 2 episodes 8 and 9 with our awesome panel. Episode 10 is Pegasus. That's next week.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, next week, guys, it will be episode 10. It will be the Pegasus episode. Don't miss that. For God's sakes, if there's any episode of our podcast that you catch this year, catch next week's episode. My God, it is the namesake episode of the podcast. So be sure that you catch it next week. It is going to be good. Good. I promise.
Because, the Pegasus is a newer ship.
Yep, exactly.
It doesn't have retracting pylon, I don't think.
And we get to meet Admiral Kane.
Or does the pylons on that one retract? Because I don't remember those retracting.
No, they are fixed. We're going to have some goodies. We'll actually go over the dimensions and the size and everything in the Pegasus. We'll do a lot of different things next week. It'll be fun. So make sure that you guys catch that. But yeah, we are going to head out, I will let Bear go ahead and plug his stuff, let people know where they can find him, and then I will give you my stuff, and then we are getting on out of here. So.
Well, you can find me at Bear Nerd Fun. Every now and then you can find me on Wes's channel, and every now and then you'll find Wes. Every now and then Drew and Final Death Star on my channel. We do a Saturday show, and you can catch us there and have a great one. Chat without you wouldn't be a thing. It's more fun with you than without you.
Yeah, thank you so much for hanging with us tonight, guys. I know it was rough because we didn't have anybody on. It was just me most of the time, and then Bear. So big thanks to Bear for coming in, and big thanks to Steven for at least getting through what he got through until he got really sore and couldn't really talk anymore. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Raquel. And condolences to her and her family. And of course, we'll have Script Doctor back next week as well. So it'll be great to see him. So we'll have a full house next week. We expect you guys to be there because without you, we are nothing. And you guys are the best chats on YouTube. So, of course you'll be there. We love you.
Yeah, of course.
Take it easy. Take care of yourselves and each other. And so say we all.
So say we all.
All right. Good night, you guys.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.